I've been getting so many questions online about how to create a CV that will catch Emirates' attention to become cabin crew that I thought, hold on, instead of me replying individually to everybody, let me just show you. So today I will be showing you exactly what you need to do in order to create a CV that will get you through the filters that you need to get through to get that invite to an Emirates open day. Are you ready? Let's go. Hi, welcome back to my channel, A Mindful Nomad. And if you're new here, I'm Veronica. I'm a full-time digital nomad and former Emirates flight attendant for 10 years. And in this channel, you'll find everything aviation and travel related. I try to share tips and tricks on how to travel to certain places. And lately, I've also been sharing a lot of Emirates information because I've gotten many views and that's gotten me many comments from people who want to know what it's like to work at Emirates, and especially from people who want to know how to get a job at Emirates, right? So in today's video, I will be literally showing you. And towards the end, I'll be sharing important information that you need to know and can't lie about. So make sure you watch till the end because you definitely want to know this. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is go into Emirates Group Careers to the cabin crew section. And if you click on this, it'll show you coming recruitment events in your area, right? So right now I'm in Uruguay, as I told you before, only passing, but I'm here. And what do you know? There's a recruitment event on April 25th. And it's invite only. What does that mean? That means that in order for you to be able to get an invitation, you have to get through the filters. And how do you get through the filters? By having a CV that will have very specific things, and I will show you how to create it. So the first thing that you need to do before you go ahead and create a CV or anything, you need to create an account, right? And the way you're going to do that is logging right here. You're going to create a new user if you already don't have one. If you do have one, feel free to skip to the next chapter. I've divided everything into chapters so it's easy for you to see. Create a random name, Louisa Lane, I don't know why. And there you go, password, and you register, right? So it signs you right in after you create your account, and it'll show you a form which you'll have to fill out. So title, Mr., Miss, Mrs., Dr., Miss, Captain, Sir. So you're going to write your name here first, last name, email, I'm gonna fill it out quickly. So you can see the next step, because here you have personal information, photos and documents, declaration, review, and submit. So just to show you what the next screen is going to look like, I'm going to quickly fill this out. Okay, so this is the form. I've quickly filled it out. Place of residence, I'm just like literally just put Mexico, whatever. Just wanted to get through. Date of birth, whatever it is. I'm just going to write like a random date of birth that's over 21, right? Gender, there you go. Declare your height and make sure you're telling the truth because they will measure. This is very important, and it's not a discrimination thing. It's basically that you gotta be a certain height in order to reach the hat racks. I remember that before, it used to be a different requirement when I applied. It was 212 centimeters that you have, 212 centimeters that you had to be able to reach, right? So they make you like tap on top of like, I don't know, this piece of tape they put at that height in your tippy toes. Now you're basically have to be over 160 centimeters. So don't lie because they will test. This is not for you. And here, this is important. And this is why I wanted to kind of like say something. Because it says, are you willing to wear a company uniform? And this is mostly, I feel like, a religious question because, you know, if you're a Muslim, for example, and you cannot, like, you have to cover your head because that's your custom and you want to cover your head. There are Muslims that don't cover their heads. Talking about the ladies, right? Then, you know, like if if you do cover your head, you're not going to be able to wear the uniform unless you're ground staff, because you do have the option to cover your hair when you're ground staff, but not when you're cabin crew. So I'm guessing it's got to do with that. Then are you able to work shift duties? And I feel like they're saying this just so they can tell you, like, we told you this, we told you it was going to be shift work, and that means you get flights at any time of the day. You have departures at 2 a.m 4 a.m 6 a.m 8 a.m, like literally even 11 at night, and you have to like do a whole night flight. So it's not like they don't tell you, they tell you it's going to be hard work. So I'm guessing that's why they add this here. And lastly, are you willing to serve alcohol on board as part of the job requirements? And the reason why they say this is, and I know for a fact because they tell you during training, it's because of Muslims. Because you have to be able to serve alcohol. Some religions, they are a Muslim airline, and that's why I say Muslim, because they tell you during training. Some Muslims are not comfortable with even like being around or touching alcohol bottles. So they are not comfortable serving alcohol to others, which is respectable. The only problem with this is that you wouldn't be able to do the work because you have to serve alcohol in most flights. And I'm saying most flights because certain countries do not allow alcohol in, like Saudi. But in this case, you do have to be able to serve alcohol in most flights. So that's why they tell you this. So you can't say they didn't tell you. And you're on to the next part. And this is the part where we're going to be building our CV and we're going to be focusing on today, right? So you have to build a CV and you have to take the right photo. And let me make this very clear. These are two separate things, right? And, you may think that your CV needs to look like amazing and beautiful and your photo right there at the top, and it's not really the case. And let me show you why. See, here it says that the recruiter will be able to view most file types, including image files, right? Great. But, and this is important, the search tool they use will only allow them to analyze files in the following formats. .doc, which is, your Word files, you could even do like a Google Doc and just like download it on a PDF file, HTML, So, and it says here clearly that the search tool that recruiters use to search for candidates will not be able to analyze the content of some attached files, mostly image files and compressed files. What does this mean? If you send like a CV and as an image file, it just won't be able to read it. You won't get through because it needs to be able to read the information. So what can you do to make sure that your CV gets through? You already know that you have the ability to upload and that they ask you for a recent CV and a recent photograph, which means they will be looking at two different things. So I want to say that it's not really clear because it asks you for a photograph, right? What would I do? I would basically just add a photograph towards the end of the CV and on a PDF file, or attach a separate file that's a photograph in a PDF format. Because if you look at what it says here, it never says, oh, it's cool for you to upload a JPG or a PNG file. So keep that in mind, right? Because I know it can be confusing because it says here, recent CV and photograph. Okay, so let's go on to the next part of this video, which is creating your CV. So let's talk about keywords. I know this might sound very techy, but it's so important, especially because we're talking about, them using a tool. They already told you that their recruiters are using tools and that the tool may not read the document. So you gotta think more from the tech point of view. If they're going to be going through thousands, and they're going to be going through thousands and thousands and thousands of CVs, of resumes, you want to make sure that yours not only stands out, but it also fills the requirements that they're looking for. So keywords are important because those tools are going to be searching, scanning each CV for certain words, certain things that they want. So what can you do? You go to the source. You go straight to the source and check what is it that they want, right? So for example, you're going to read here, and when it comes to the requirements, you know that you want fluent and written spoken English. So you're going to be adding that to your resume somewhere, right? Exactly like that. Exactly. Fluent and written spoken English, right? And fluent in written and spoken French, whatever it is, you're gonna add it just like that so that the software they're using can identify it, right? Then a natural team player with a personality that shines. You're going to be adding just that somewhere in your resume. And if you can add it in your summary and within the description of one of your jobs, if you can add it like twice at least, great. At least 160 centimeters tall and able to reach 212 centimeters high. Add that. Add your height and add able to reach 212 centimeters high, right? So you're going to be looking for all those things. This is going to scan your age. So just add your birthday because in this case, it is important, right? And most importantly, add at least 1 year of hospitality or customer service experience. So add 1 year of customer service experience and add this more than once. So in your summary and definitely in your job description, in whatever role you're describing where you have that 1 year experience, right? And you can add this in like a section like other things to know about me. Like I'll show you how to like kind of like set it up, but definitely you want these things on your profile because their software is going to scan for this, right? Now that I show you the keyword side, let's move on to how to build your CV using keywords and what format does it need to be in, everything you need to know for it to pass through the filter of this software they're using. So as you can see, I am using literally a Google Doc, and you can do this too. It's fine. They have different templates for CVs, which is what I used here. And is it fancy? No, it's not, but you don't need it to be, because what you wanted to do is to have all the information to pass through the filters, right? So yes, you want it to be pretty, and you can make it even prettier than I have here. This is just an example for you to use, but make sure that it has the important information that you need. So let's talk about the structure. You're going to have your summary. First, you're going to have, of course, your name and, your details, how they can get in touch with you, your social media. And before I move on, let me tell you a little something about social media. So this is just a small tip. I would try to keep it private. Like if I were you, I would just set it in private and make sure your profile picture isn't, you in a bikini if you're a girl, or you doing something you're not, you won't look good for an employer. Like, I don't know, it's not you with a beer. Not that doing those things is wrong. I'm just saying, like, remember where you're applying to, right? So that's important. So make sure that you keep it in private. I would have it private if I were you, at least for this time, right? So they can't see anything. And if you want to keep it public, make sure that you don't have any photos of you, being like a party person or doing something indecent or whatever. Put your Emirates hat on. What would an Emirates recruiter want to see when they hire someone, right? And then archive all the photos that don't align with that. That's my advice. But they will look at these things. I would keep it private. That's the smartest thing to do. So let's talk about the different parts of the CV. So you've got your summary, right? It's basically that, a summary of the entire resume. So your professional experience, you're going to be listing the different roles that you had and the different companies that you worked for. Even if you freelance, you're going to list that too, because you need to list that. Then skills and other information. You can title it different. This is what I came up with. But yeah, this is going to be like, where your language, your date of birth, and your height is going to live, your education. And then you can add a little section for interests where you can, add something that is aligned with the Emirates mission and vision. Like this honestly isn't what I wrote here, because this is like something random that I wrote. But look at the company's mission and vision statement and try to write something that aligns with that, and then add your interest into the mix, and then that's it. That's all you need. This is if you have room. Because remember that you don't want it to be over 2 pages, right? Because no one's going to read that. Okay, let's dissect this a little bit. So the summary. For the summary here, I've highlighted the keywords that I took from this here and I put into here. Your summary won't look the same as my summary because we have different experiences. In fact, your summary might look much cooler than mine. And just to let you know, I've written this CV. I created it from scratch with work experience I had when I was 21 and I applied for Emirates. So this is written from that point of view, right? This is assuming that a lot of the people who are going to be watching this may have not a crazy work experience like I have now. Like if you look at my CV now, it's like insane compared to what it was when I first applied for Emirates. So this is just a summary of who you are, but always thinking about your employees. So I wrote here, multilingual customer service specialist. And I should highlight this too, because customer service has to be in there and it has to be in there multiple times. Why? Because you're applying for a customer service position, right? So multilingual customer service specialist and event hostess, these are 2 other things that I used to do. Fluent in written and spoken English and Spanish. Can you recognize this from anywhere? See what I mean? With over 3 years of experience in providing exceptional customer, support and hosting duties for high-profile events across the country. My background includes a year of dedicated service as a customer service agent. Don't go and copy this because it just, they will catch it and they will know that you did not write this because they're not stupid. So anyway, remember to do that, to write your own thing. But I'm just giving you tips on how to write it better, and don't use AI. Use AI, but just adapt it. Make sure that you change it up, change it around. Known for my adaptability, you're going to throw in, a few of your skills, excellent interpersonal skills. I would actually even throw communication skills, all the things that you're going to be using as cabin crew, and ability to manage tasks efficiently under pressure. A natural team player, which is here, right? Natural team player with a personality that shines. I was very bold as to copy this exactly. You can change it up a bit. The only thing I wouldn't change would be a natural team player. I would write it just like that. The personality that shines, you could just write with a very, fun personality or interesting personality or whatever adjective you want to insert there that describes you. That's it. I have a proven track record of enhancing customer satisfaction, customer here again, and contributing to the success of every event. My unique blend of experience in customer service and event hosting equips me with a versatile skill set that can be leveraged in a dynamic team environment. So team again, see? And then I'm not going to bore you with every single, experience thing. This is actually a job that I had. And what did I do here? For example, I excelled in a high pressure team environment. Again, add in team here. Customer is here too. These things are so important because the software will find it, right? And we'll look for these words. And I suggest that you try and add them to every single part of the resume where you can add it. Now, moving on to the skills and other information. See, I wrote here again, fluent in written and spoken English. And you can add any other language that you speak here. And if you speak a third language in an intermediate level, you can add it here as well. But yes, write this. It's important that you write it so it catches it. Date of birth, maybe write date of birth, just so it's clear for the software to catch it, and they will catch that you're over 21 because they're going to filter that. And they're going to filter if you're older as well. Trust me. So if you're over 50, it's going to filter it and it's going to be no, delete. Sad, but true. Height, it's going to filter it too. So height, and write it like this in centimeters. And I would write able to reach to 12 centimeters, just like it says here. I would write it meters, and I would write high. Education. At the time when I applied, I was still going to law school, so I wrote in progress. If you have a degree, a master's degree, there are tons of people who have degrees fully completed even master's degrees and PhDs and add it here because it elevates your resume 100%. And then for interests, like I said, you could just add anything that you feel aligns with the mission and vision of Emirates, and you can find the mission and vision right on their website. Let's move on to the next step, which is photo. Oops. Basically, when you're taking your photo, you have to be thinking about this section, right? So your hair has to be tied back, your face has to be full of makeup, the dress code is business attire and shoes. And now I'm going to show you something that I don't think I've ever shown online, but this is my photo that I sent. I have first taken a super blurry photo and taken it to the open day, and they were like, no, you need to send us a photo before we give you any answer. So I later sent my photo. Now you just have to send the right photo from the beginning, and it has to be with a white background and very clear and whatnot. And as you can see, it's right here. It's on PDF format, which means that this is the format in which you're going to be sending your photo. If you have the ability to pay someone to take a professional photo, like full body photo of you, great, do that. I had a friend who had a photo studio, so I asked him to please take that photo for me, and he did. And this is me at 21. Oh my God, look at this girl. And these clothes were so big on me because they weren't mine. I didn't have a business attire, so I asked for someone to give it to me. I had a full face of makeup. My hair was tied back. I wasn't an expert like I am now with the French twist. But anyway, this is what it was. Minimal jewelry, as you can see, only pearls. And yeah, I was wearing a skirt. Could have been longer. This is what I had. But it wasn't short, so it was okay. Yeah, and the shoes, and that's that. And hopefully this isn't really edited. You can see there's marks on the floor. So my friend didn't even bother to edit it. I just sent it. Keep in mind, this was over 10 years ago. So, but anyways, yes, this is what you're basically looking for when you're looking to send a photo, which is basically what you've got here. That's what you're going to be doing. So let's recap a little bit, and then I'll tell you the information that you definitely need to know and you can miss out. So stick around. But just to recap, format is important. So remember, .pdf is what I would recommend. A file for your CV and a file for the photograph. Secondly, make sure your CV is clear. It's created as a doc. Even if it's not a sexy CV, it doesn't matter, because what's important is that the software is able to read the document, which takes me to the third part, which is use keywords. Use the keywords that are right on the Emirates website and check to see if the requirements change, because you need to adapt your resume. And most importantly, integrate those keywords so they look natural. Another point to recap, use the AI to help you. Don't only use AI. Make sure you write things yourself, you adapt it so it looks natural and like a person wrote it, not a robot. Photo. Make sure that the photo checks all the requirements that you already have on the Emirates website. Try to get a professional photographer to take it, or someone with a very good camera, or with a very good phone with a very good camera, why not? In a white background so they can see you and all of your beauty. And make sure you've got your makeup on, your hair is tied back, you're wearing a business attire. You already know what you need to do, so do it. And lastly, don't forget about social media, and I would put it private, but if it's public, make sure that everything that's on there won't jeopardize your application. So as a final thought, and what I wanted to share with you are the following things. On top of following everything that I've just shared with you, I also wanted to share a few tips knowing Emirates and having been on the inside for like a little over 10 years. First of all, make sure that your resume allows them to see your personality shine through. So yeah, make sure you reflect that in your resume. That's important. And that also applies for when you go to the interview. Another thing is, please make sure that you can back back up the information that you are putting on your resume. Meaning, if you said you worked at a certain place, make sure that's true, because I don't know if they're going to call your employer, but they might. I do know, however, for a fact that they do a thorough background check on you. So they will check. So don't risk it. And most importantly, do not lie about the languages that you speak, because you are not going to be tested on them probably during their interview unless there's someone who's interviewing you who speaks that language there, right? But, and this is important, if you do get the job and you do fly to Dubai, you will be a language speaker. That's what we call people who speak certain language during a flight, right? So for example, if I'm flying to Japan and I speak Japanese, I'm a language speaker on that flight. And for example, and this is why I use Japanese as an example, there are certain requirements for certain flights. So in Japanese flights, you need to have 7, I don't know if that number changed now, but at the time it was 7 Japanese speakers on the flight, and they might ask you to do the public announcement on the interphone for everyone to hear and to read. They might ask you to translate during a medical emergency, and if you can't do that, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna fire you. No questions asked. So be smart and just declare. You don't have to lie. You just have to show your amazing personality and you'll get through. I hope you liked this video today. If you did like it, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comments, questions, suggestions, whatever it is right below so I can read them. Let me know if you're interested in this, but the next video I do about Emirates, I want it to be about the experience of joining Emirates and what is it like? What's induction week like? What it felt like for me? What you're going to experience? What you may find? What I found that was shocking that I wasn't expecting, etc. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments below because I would love to do a video talking about that. And that's it. I hope you like this and I will see you next time.